Good evening, guys. This is Henry Green from London Trading Group, and I'm just going to run through what I'm expecting for the week. And I'm currently it's January the 10th. So what I'm looking for the coming week, so the 11th to the 15th of January, what I'm expecting in the markets and what you could potentially see, and the movers that we're expecting. So I'm going to start with EURUSD as currently is on my screen. Again, we're currently back up at 109.40, back up at kind of a good level of resistance we've seen there. As you can see, my 60-minute chart, I've got this at an outer trend line, so I'm potentially seeing this as a fail zone again. Very, very choppy once more in EURUSD. We're kind of going sideways currently. It's kind of taking Fibs up, Fibs out on the top side and on the bottom side. So I'm not really expecting this. I'm not looking to trade this until the picture becomes a little clearer. And as such, I'm probably not going to be in this one tomorrow. I'm not really looking at euros, but as you'll see later, I think maybe it's a good play against potentially other weaker currencies. It's not actually taken out the high that's been proven in the last week. So the kind of highs that I'm looking at are around 110. That second swing that we're on down. So we are still making these lower highs and lower lows. So should we fail again, we can then expect it to take the lows out 107.20 as the potential takeout zone. So that's where I'd be looking to, if it holds up here at 109.40, that would be kind of the area that I'd be looking to take it down to. And as we are at a 60-minute trend line, you've got to anticipate that it's going to hold here. And I do expect the euro to potentially sell off from this trend line should it hold. So that's what I'll be looking for that. Again, 110.25, you go through 110.25, I think then that's opened the door for a 111.20, and you kind of then looking to take euro higher. But for the time being, we are making these lower highs and lower lows, so that's what I'll be looking for a sell zone. Kind of we're into the good sell zone at the moment, because we're up at that 60-minute counter trend line, and I'll be looking for it to maybe turn here and continue on lower. This fib that I'm currently having on the daily chart, I mean, we are perfectly within the realms of this fib that goes down, and I have just drawn this to kind of see where we could top out, and 112.70 would be the daily D should we get there. I don't think it's going to get up there. What I think maybe would be more realistic would be a fail at 106.30. Then you might see it rally back up to 111, but that's going to be a long old move and not one that I'm looking for this week. So my trade this week is a hold currently at this counter trend line, and then we go on to see the lows potentially taken out at 107. So that would be my trade that I'm watching for this week, potentially in EURUSD. And if you do see that continued euro weakness, I have got this past market angle in EURUSD, so this is what I'll be looking to sell through. Certainly a sell through this white line. This is a past market angle that I've got in, so kind of it's worked nicely here, correctly again here, and now I've got this in for a third time. So that was what I'd be looking for a sell through this 60-minute counter trend line, then to take this lower. Certainly 107.20 is my level, and currently the D stands at 106.50, so I think that lines perfectly up with this another daily level. So you're kind of looking for a 300 pip move potentially if you could get in at a good level from 106.25 where we currently are down to 106, down to 106 sort of 30, I believe the area is. Yeah, 106.50 would be my target down there. So should it hold, that's what I'm looking for in EURUSD. Ultimately, everything nicely lines up at 101.70 low in euro. So should we really break that and we see this daily level taken out, as you can see this past market angle in EURUSD, 101.70 I think is a really good low, and potentially where it stops. Should it get down there, I'd probably expect it to go and take the figure on, because that's where a lot of traders would like to see it go. So that's what I'm looking for that one. Let's move on to cable. Cable's another good one, really fast mover. We have pulled back to the 38, fine, and we've now since sold off. Should we see any pullbacks, this 8 EMA has been holding really nicely, so should you get any pullbacks, and that's where the zone where I expect it to pull back to. We currently are at in a very fast market in cable, and I expect it to at least get to its D down at 144.20. So I think that could be a really good level. The D actually currently on the hourly chart's a bit lower, down at 133.60, so we could see that spike down into there. 143.60. So we could see it spike down into there and then close back at the support down at 144. Through that, 143 is the level, and then through that, I think you then go even lower. So that's what I'm looking for in cable. I've got this nice channel that I've got in at the moment in cable. So you're kind of seeing it's bouncing off the bottom range, bottom side of this channel, and then rejecting off the top side. So that's another potential bounce zone, and as again you just draw this past market angle in. Make it as simple as you can, guys. I think that's a really easy tactic to use, that you just kind of have this past market angle in, the one that's worked really nicely. As you can see, we've had a retest of it here, and I assume that if you draw it in here, you probably have this as a bit of a retest up here. Exactly. So that's the market angle that I'm looking to break again for cable. Just draw it in. And a close below here opens up the bottom side, and then you're looking to take this lower. But so long as this kind of this trades on and this channel is not broken from the top side, I think that's a really good sell. Continued sell down to at least 144, and that's what I'll be looking for this week in cable. So if you get maybe a fake break, you kind of trade back up to the EMA suggests a rally back up to 146.30, which I just don't think it's going to get up there. If you kind of get back up to 146s, I think that's a really good sell zone. Again, on the outside of this channel, I think that's a really good sell zone for cable, and I'll be looking to sell it up there, maybe on just a 15-minute candle formation. So if you could get in a really good level, so if they move it up tomorrow morning is aggressive, you get back up towards here. I think that could be a really good sell. I've got a really good level up at 146.30 as well, which was kind of the low of the big low of the last move. So if we're looking over here, this kind of zone, so maybe we get a retest of that 146.30. So that could just be a spike. You see how it spiked up here? Could just find a spike into 146.30 in and around here, and that again would be a really good sell zone. But until this kind of move shows me that it wants to hold somewhere, you got to assume that we're going to set up for pound weakness, and cable's got to continually be a sell. So kind of just looking for the way to do this. You've got to be looking for good areas to sell it. I mean, this is kind of the confirmed sell, but a good sell is up here, you know, these areas up here. So if you get a good confirmed sell level, by all means sell it through the counter trend line. I think it will continue on down. And as I said, 143, I've got my D down here at 143.60, so I think maybe a spike down there. I've got another good daily level down at 143.30, so mismatch those areas up and you can kind of find where you think cable's going to hold. But I think you can continually, you might have a day rally, but then I think it sells off again. So that's my forecast for cable. Dollar yen's one of the only ones that in the last week has showed significant strength against the dollar. The yen has been very, very strong this week, and such that the moves in yen crosses have been magnified as all the others have struggled against the dollar. So I think it certainly goes down and tests 117. 117.20 I've got as a really good level, so I'd be expecting that. The D is actually much further down at 115. I don't actually think it's going to get there. Potentially not straight through anyway. I think you could see maybe a spike down to 116.30 area, maybe even a bit higher, 116.80. And if that does happen, what you could actually say here, right, is so I've got a level a bit lower down. So if just to show you how I'd kind of build this up, I've got a level down here at 116.30. So how does this work, right? Well, so we've got 116.30. You've got a bit of resistance there. So if we're going to hit this D here, we expect it to bounce at 116.80, right? So if you put the fib in here, so you got this 116.80, so that becomes the new fib. You then have this 127 down at 116.20, which actually lines perfectly up with this good level of support down at 116.20. So for me, what I'd look for is if this move was quick, so say we only had a pullback to the 23.4, I'd be looking for this to fail at the 127, which would then be a great area to fade this, and you're looking for then the fade back up to 118. That would be the trade, and that would be the trade I'd be looking for should that happen. So you get that push in the leading into the dead zone. I think then that's a really good area to buy that back up to sort of 118, because this kind of has slowed recently. You know, this kind of move, it's been lasting a few hours, very similar to this previous move here. So the safe sell in dollar yen is when it takes the lows out. As you can see here, when the lows were taken out, it sold off. Again here, when the lows were taken out, it sold off. And again, probably here, you're looking for those lows to be taken out and then to sell off again. So that's what I'm looking for dollar yen. You've got to play yen strength as continuation as soon as that, because until it shows you that it wants to hold. But again, I think there's a lot of buyers down here. 117, I expect there to be a lot of buyers down here in dollar yen. So maybe we do see that hold at these levels and then continue. Right, one of my favourites, dollar CAD. Oil's is looking like it's going to continually sell off. Where's it going to stop? I don't really know. If you have a look at one of my passels, you'll see that I've put up a chart up there of the cost of pumping it out of the ground. Kuwait is still pumping it out of the ground at $7.50 a barrel. So up at 33.74 currently we're at. You know, there's still a long way it can go lower. So where is this going to stop? Well, I don't really mind. I don't really care where it stops, but I'm going to trade dollar CAD up until it does stop. So my final target is 144 in dollar CAD. I think it's a really, really good level. I've said it so many times that dollar CAD's going to 144, and now my 60-minute lines perfectly up with my daily level. So I've got a daily level at 144. I've got a daily D at 144, and now my 60s are saying that it's going to stop at 144. So I think that is the level. That's got to be the level, 144, where this stops. So for goodness sake, do not be stopped out in this on the way up. And how are you going to do that? Right, well, in these fast moves, as you can see, right, the 80 EMA has been the great one. It's been holding perfectly on this. So we've got an 80 EMA, guys. That's the one I'm looking at. 80, 80, 80. When it then goes sideways, I had this past market angle in, which as soon as it broke, it went, and again pulled back to the 80. So I think if you're going to be in this, you could be in this now. Stop behind the 80 EMA, but again, I'd be looking to take this at potentially intraday level. So we have got a level up here. 141.60 is a level, so potentially we hold. Maybe we have a few tries at this, or maybe it starts this pattern again where we're kind of looking for a bit of a drift sideways before it takes on 144. And I think 141.70 currently where we are is a good level, but I do think we go through this. I do think we go through it and we take on the D up at 144. There's not actually very much through 141.70. I haven't actually got a good daily level through here, so I think we've got a bit of clean space. Again, just be looking to buy through the highs. Any good entry you can get in this. A pullback to the 80 is a golden opportunity to buy this, and a kind of breakthrough suggests that we're going to maybe go into this bit of sideways. This topping sequence does look very similar to this, so just be careful. Maybe we do go sideways for the first few days. Monday, Tuesday, maybe we go sideways, and then we see maybe the pop go, and then that's the time where we then take this up to the D. Because I don't know whether you guys have seen, but you could have had this past market angle in for a long time. So it worked perfectly here, it worked perfectly here, it worked perfectly here. So we have hit this D. That was the D that stopped it. This 60-minute D. So yeah, we have pulled back to the 38 kind of already. That 140.40 area was a really good area to buy again, and maybe we pull back even deeper. Do I think so? No. I think we hold here, and I think maybe you see this break and you just continually can continually buy this through the highs, and that's what I'll be looking to do. 141.70, as I say, is a good level, so beware, but be careful and do not be stopped out cheaply in this, because I'm almost certain that this is going to 144. And I'll put my neck on the line to say it is. So let's see what happens in that one. But again, I think this is a golden opportunity for you to get in and take sort of 230 very easy pips, and hopefully more if you can get in at deeper levels. So that's what I'm looking for in dollar CAD. Really interesting one. Right, so Aussie dollar. So quickly move on to Aussie. Again, this one's hit a D hopefully down here. I've kind of assumed this is the D. We've hit the 127, having pulled back to the 78.6. So that's kind of the pullback that I was looking for. Now we're down at the D, 69.50. In Aussie dollar, I've got 70.30 is a really good sell zone. So you see how if we were traced to the 61.8, you're kind of looking at this good level of resistance back up here. So often what will happen is if you clear a good level so easily, it will often go and retest it just to make sure that those sellers are still wanting to sell back up at that 70.30 level, and that matches really nicely up with this 61.8. So you could see Aussie rally into here, and then I think it's a really good sell, which it then takes on the D, the 1618, that a bit lower at 68.70, which is again this low. So you kind of 68.70. So it's I've changed these charts. Yeah, so it's going much lower here, and you could see this go lower. As I was saying, it's a very quick move. You see this nice lower high on the daily was made, and we've taken out this counter trend line. So now this could be a very quick move. These EMAs are nicely narrowed, and we could see this push on. 69.10 is the first level, 68.10 is the next one. So you could see it hold up somewhere in between here, should you spike down into here. So what you could see is this first fail. It's kind of been a very quick move. You've only pulled back to the you pulled back only to the 76.4. So I'm expecting this to kind of bounce at one of these zones, and 118 could be a good bounce zone, and that lines nicely up with the D. So should this be a quick move and you see this continually roll over, I think a D down and a kind of a target or a take profit down at 68.70 is another good level to take this out at, and I'd be looking to trade Aussie all the way down. This is a very quick move. You made a lovely nice lower high, a daily lower high on here, and now we've gone through the trend line, so now we see this sell off. Again, if you see any sort of rally in the Aussie, maybe a retest of this trend line and then again to sell off. So that's what I'll be looking for Aussie, but I think continually look for this to sell. There's no reason why it should hold here. It should hold at 69.10 if it's going to hold anywhere, and then we should see it maybe bounce, so maybe a bounce back up to 70.30, and then it takes on those lows and it takes them on confidently, and that's when you see that D hit. So that's what I'm looking for Aussie, another nice one, assuming that that's the D that's formed on the 60-minute chart that we're currently looking at. So that's what I'm looking for Aussie. If we switch to Kiwi, Kiwi's an interesting one. I think that we have hit this D. Now this one lines really nicely up. So what I expect here is for 64.70 to be the low. I really do think that is a really good zone to buy Kiwi. What we have here is different to the Aussie, and the reason why this is different is you've firstly got this. It's not actually made a a lower high before this is broken, and as such I expect it to fail down at 64.70 as a first bounce zone, and that kind of lines nicely up with the D. So should you see any pullback, maybe you get a pullback into sort of 66 area. I think 66 could be a good zone. Through that 66.30, a good one as well. So you see that maybe the deeper retracement, and then you see it sell off down to the D at 64.70. I think 64.70 is the low here, and that's where you bounce. So I think you bounce down here 64.70. So I'd be looking for any good sell zones in this one, and as such I'll be looking to put this kind of zone in. I'm looking for at the moment 66.30 is a sell zone. So maybe we see this bounce, and as such this is a good zone to sell this down to 64.70, which is the area that I'm looking to take profit should I be short in this, as I think that's kind of a key zone. As you can see, it bounced really nicely there, and then we go. So what I'm looking for this week is potentially maybe a bit of continued yen strength. I expect euro to be a bit choppy, so you could play euros against anything else. Pound looks like it's is pretty aggressive and moving down nicely. Aussies and Kiwis, again, you're looking for the shorts, but I think there's some good levels to be buying back those, potentially down at those lows that we've talked about earlier. The crosses, I think you could have some very good opportunities in the crosses. Maybe yens again, CAD yen, pound yen could all be really good sells this week. So what I'm going to do is in the morning setups that we go through every morning, that's when the crosses will be covered, because then I've got more of a picture of what I'm looking for on the daily basis, and as such have a look at those. So please subscribe to my video. I hope this has been useful for you guys. We do run a virtual trading floor that we run every morning, so follow the link in the page below in the description. Hope that's been useful, and have a good week trading. I'll be there on the virtual floor.